Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetwork. This is episode 230. I'm here with Ms. Giovanni, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, for people who want to know what the KeithAndrewNetwork is, the KeithAndrewNetwork is my way of showing people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. You should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something no matter what. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you can still amount to something. Half hour, 45 minutes of your time. And starting off, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard-hitting questions. And then I'm going to pass it to you. You're supporting a good cause, making a new friend out of it. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm actually one of the older actors. I didn't start till started several years ago, but not fully and professionally. I've done various extras work and indie films, done 1 or 2 TV shows in the States. I was on the client list with Jennifer LaFewitt. I've worked in theatre, I've worked with people like Wayne Sleet. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy. It was from Aha, oh goodness me, Blood Brothers he was in. I'm trying to think of his name, it eludes me at the moment. Basically, I'm the same as you. Determination got me where I am, and if you're determined, then it doesn't matter. There should be no bars. And proud of you for doing what you're doing. Congratulations. And I know that you're a great host because I've seen some of your shows. Keep up the good work.
No, absolutely. Now, what can you tell us about living in England? How different? Have you ever been to the States, and how is it living in the UK?
The UK is obviously a lot different to living in the US. There's more work available in the US because of basically the size of the country, for one. Most of the work in the UK is down in London, which to me is probably 300-400 miles away. So getting work in the UK is quite difficult. Let me think. The political climate at the moment, as you know, we're on a very, very important day at the moment with the EU referendum going on, and whether we want to remain in or out, and it's a big political decision. Because Britain is the same as America. I know you're having difficulties with the presidential campaign and Mr. Trump basically wanting to make America great again. We say the same with Britain, make Britain great again. And unfortunately, we can't go back in time. We can only move forward.
No, absolutely. Yeah, the cam was too high. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actor, and how did you start your story being an actress?
My influences have been people like Dame Judi Dench. There have been various others that have gone through. When I used to watch Buffy the Vampire when I was younger, so Sarah Michelle Gellar was a little bit of an influence. Not so much so now, but there have been a lot of influences in my life. I read a lot of Stanislavski when I was younger, so method acting was a big plus. I actually went to university and did a university degree, and we looked at even artists such as Deschamps and people like that. So there have been several influences, both past and present.
Alright. Well, was there any subjects you'd like to talk about? This is your time after all. Are you on Twitter? How can people follow you?
On Twitter, my Twitter name is Aphrodite1965. There's not a great deal that I'd like to talk about. There's a lot of diversity in acting, and I'd like to see more female directors, female producers. There's a lack of them actually at the moment. In the Oscars, there was a lot said about black actors and the lack of people actually voted for the Oscars. It works in many areas. I think you'll agree that there's diversity everywhere and underrepresentation everywhere, and it would be the same for yourself. Disabled actors you don't see a great many of, but if you're not in front of the camera, being behind it is the next best thing. And I think you should be in front of camera and have your own show apart from YouTube. Get a network on there.
No, absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting questions that you can answer how you like. First one is, where do you stand on legalizing marijuana?
Oh, that is a hard-hitting question. Personally, I'm not entirely sure how it would affect the way things are at the moment. It's the same in the UK as in the US. Marijuana is still outlawed. I'm not entirely sure whether smoking marijuana would lead to bigger things as people say it will, like smoking crack cocaine or heroin and things like that. They say that the soft drugs lead to the hard drugs. I'm undecided on that one.
Alright, now the next question I was going to ask you. Well, first off on the subject, there's nothing wrong with smoking marijuana. One, it's healthy for you. It helps people with all these diseases. Do people abuse it? Yes. It wouldn't lead to other drugs? Not really. Because they would have done it already. And even if they do, it wouldn't be the same right now. It's not really that big of a deal. But, it's just people abusing things. It's really about it. That's what the big issue is. And that brings up my next question. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
Wow, that's a good one. The Second Amendment, I think, should stay in place. With the current political and social-religious climate in the States, I think that the Second Amendment should remain there. On the gun law issue, you need to protect yourself. Everyone needs to protect themselves. The shooting, where was it? It wasn't in Colorado, was it? Where was the shooting recently?
Orlando.
Yeah, in Florida. I was thinking Colorado. Yeah, the shooting in Orlando, and there was one before that. There's quite a lot. If people had weapons to actually protect themselves, admittedly at that particular time, everyone was unprepared for a shooter actually coming into a nightclub and just opening fire. I think more so now, under the climate, do you need the guns to protect yourself and your family? Unfortunately, we don't have gun laws in Britain. We're not allowed to carry guns. But if anyone hurt my family in any way, I would want that right to be able to protect them.
Well, you bring up a good point. If people did have guns to protect themselves during the whole incident, 50 people wouldn't have died. Well, a lot of people would have gotten killed, but it wouldn't have been this, drawn out thing. And instead of 50, it will probably be like 20, it will be half that, but still, you wouldn't have been able to protect yourself.
That's it.
But while on the subject, I support the Second Amendment. You have the right to protect yourself. I support killing only. When I said I only support killing only in self-defense.
Absolutely.
If you're backed into a corner, someone's threatening your life or your loved ones, you have the right to do whatever you want. But what I am against is people just walking around with a gun just for the hell of it. Because then that opens up a whole bunch of other things where you're like, well, this is this whole bunch of stupid shit. It's just basically, you're either having it to protect yourself, that's it, but then the same thing's marijuana. People like to abuse it.
I agree with you entirely. I don't think there is a rigid screening process that people can go through, because there are crazy people in all walks of life, and you can't screen everyone. Who's to say that they get a gun when they're, say, 17, 18-year-old, and they keep on with that gun license, and then they suddenly turn? Some sort of influence within their life makes them feel angry, aggravated, or whatever, and makes them go out and kill other people just for the hell of it. You can't really screen people, because you can't screen people's psyches on a daily basis.
Well, I do support background checks, and I give you a perfect example. If there's any religious fanatics, number one, hell, you can use me for a perfect example. If there's anyone who's, retarded, have disabilities, learning disabilities, any disabilities, anyone who's mentally unstable, people who have severe psychological problems, and whatever label you want to throw out, these people should be on a list that should be banned, period. And don't give me that Second Amendment crap. If you're mentally disturbed and you have issues, you should be banned from getting firearms. Now, doing that, you're going to cut the list wide in half. So it's 100, you're cutting 50% of the nut jobs out. Now, if you just want it, I can be a perfect example. I'm handicapped, I have a learning disability. People said I'm retarded. I have no interest in buying a gun. I'd be happy with a paintball gun. As long as I'm able to protect myself, that's fine by me. I really don't need guns. The problem is you give guns, like Oprah, you have a gun, she has a gun, we all have guns, and that's where the shit hits the fan. But you need to have rigorous background checks. If you're mentally disturbed, you're off. If you're a convict, you're a criminal, you're off. You can't have it. I think it would make it a better place if they do it right. But the problem is, they have people catering, if you have money, you can get to do whatever the hell you want. And that's where the problem is. If you have money, and people just take advantage of things.
I think, as the old adage goes, guns don't kill, people do.
I think that's a George Collins joke. It says, guns don't kill people, animals with guns kill people.
Yeah, that's an old one.
But it's true and everything.
What was that, sorry?
No, the whole thing is true. You have all these religious fanatics, you have these terrorists, and that's another thing. People who are on the terrorist list, these people should be killed. Like you're on these lists, and the first time you do something out of line, that's it, you're off. The world would be a better place.
Yeah, I think maybe the freedom of religion should be withdrawn.
Right.
Without religion, there would be no wars. It's this that's causing it. You've got terrorists saying our God is better than your God and that sort of thing. I mean, I believe in God bless America, but I don't agree with people coming in and stating that the laws that are set down should be changed just to suit them. With Sharia law, they're wanting Sharia law in various areas. I don't know whether it's the same there as it is in the UK, but if you move to a country, you live by their laws, you live by their rules. You don't expect to change it to something that you've left.
The whole religious things, Muslims, Jews, Christians, it's all the same shit. It's all the same religion. You can label it whatever you want. There's only one God, there's only one devil, and, you know, yin and yang, because there has to be a balance. If there's a God, there's a devil. If there's a good, there's bad. But you can label it whatever you want, put a spin on it. But, you know, the truth is, we're all the same people, basically, and people like to label things.
Well, I have the same. People would view me as transgendered, but that's not entirely true. I was basically classed as pseudo-hermaphrodite by the doctors. I had underdeveloped genitalia, and that this may go out on YouTube, and it's a little personal, but get it across there to people, not to actually judge a book by its cover. As you yourself say, people who have classed you as retarded. I think that is wrong. We are who we are. There's nothing can alter that.
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping up. I'm going to give you the last 5 minutes. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Stage 32?
I'm on various things. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Snapchat, basically Aphrodite 1965. So they can find me on Facebook as Pamela-Michelle Giovanni. Just Google my name and it will come up with numerous sites that I'm actually members of.